Hi, everybody. This is Todd Creager, and today I am talking to you about the 7 signs of micro cheating. I started talking about my micro cheating in my last video blog, and I'm doing this again for a little while longer because micro cheating is a phrase that makes a lot of sense to me, and apparently to a lot of other people who are finding it relevant. So, what does that mean, micro cheating? Probably need to define that each time I do a talk on micro cheating. Obviously, cheating is when someone does something that they cannot tell their partner. So, if I hold hands with a woman, my secretary, and I can't tell my wife that, wouldn't tell her, that's cheating. If my wife knows that I'm about to have sexual intercourse with another person and everything's above board, that's not cheating. That's something else, but it's not cheating. So that's cheating, right? Now, micro cheating is sort of like that gray area where a person really isn't doing anything that's really crossing a boundary, but you might be doing something, you're starting to have a secret. In my last video, I think about micro hiding, the little ways we hide. Well, micro cheating involves micro hiding, or even just hiding. But it's it's something that micro cheating is enough to affect a relationship. For example, secretive flirting. Okay, let's say it never gets worse than that. it's still it's something that you're hiding from your partner, and I do think that that hiding, assuming you're hiding it, um, can affect the intimacy, or at least the intimacy potential of your relationship. So micro cheating can be very problematic. So I want to talk to you about the 7 signs of micro cheating when there's a good possibility that there's some cheating going on. Now, with every one of these signs, maybe there isn't micro cheating going on, but it's a sign. And if you have enough of these together, there's a pretty good bet that there's some kind of micro cheating, which again is that gray area where I'm doing something, I'm not really crossing a major boundary, but I'm starting to do things and keeping things secret or hidden from my committed partner. So I'm not going to use pronouns he and her. I'm going to use the pronoun they. They just because it could be anybody of any gender that could be the one betraying. So I'm going to use the pronoun they. Um, and so just know that as I speak. So the first sign of micro cheating that I want to discuss is that they are on the phone a lot. And when you ask what they're doing, the answer is vague, or they're hesitant, or even there's a nervousness to them. I've seen that, they're on the phone a lot. When you ask what they're doing, it's this vague, like, well, I'm just looking at stuff. Now that could be, I'm just looking at stuff. I mean, it could mean that. Again, that's why we want to put these signs together, like stack them, right? But in and of itself, it could be a problem. I'm just looking at stuff. Or they're hesitant. Why ask? You know, because oftentimes when a person is like, if I'm looking at some sports, some ESPN sports, my wife says, "What are you looking at?" I go, "I'm looking at some sports." There's no hesitation. I'm being specific. I'm certainly not nervous. So you want to look for that. Second sign of micro cheating is when there's a change in behavior where your partner is isolating a lot. Now, everything I'm thinking about when I write this list is I think about what I've seen with the thousands of couples I've seen that have been with some kind of secrets. So this is not just stuff I've read on somebody else's blog or a book somewhere. It's really coming right from my own practice. And so I've seen where people will call me, there's been infidelity, and then when they tell the story, they go, it started way back then, and I noticed my partner just was kind of withdrawing a lot, wasn't really physically present a lot. Would go into the bedroom, while I'm in the living room. And it used to be we would sit and watch movies together, but suddenly he's just gone, or she. Yeah, I'm going with the he or she. Um, so that could be problematic. Third sign that the person isn't emotionally present or attentive, even when physically present. Okay, so maybe when they're around, they're not really tuned into you. They might be at the moment doing some micro cheating on a device such as a phone, or maybe their mind is focused on that, but they're just not with you. They're not emotionally present. And you've noticed that as a change. Fourth sign of micro cheating is they suddenly become protective of their phone or other devices. They're careful suddenly not to ever leave the phone out. They won't share passwords. Let me tell you where I'm at with passwords and couples. I think that we have to look at a dialectic, they call it, right? There's on one hand, there needs to be some sense of privacy. Privacy is important. I can't feel like you're smothering me. But the other hand, there's got to be a sense of connection and and openness and sharing. And I I think that having passwords of phones makes a lot of sense most of the time. For a variety of practical reasons. There's been times when, for whatever reason, I had to take my wife's phone to Target because she's got the Target app and I don't. And I needed to take the phone and go and show him the four-digit thing because I was doing curbside shopping. I'm just thinking of that. Okay. There are practical times when it's helpful to have a password. And sometimes maybe somebody's phone's upstairs and I'm downstairs, or and my phone's upstairs, she's downstairs, and she wants to use my phone. So I think that having each other's passwords can oftentimes be helpful. And again, in and of itself, if you don't, I've had couples say, we never shared password, we never had a problem. Yeah, that's fine. But I just think that that could be a sign when they're kind of a whole syndrome of protecting the phone, careful to not leave the phone out, won't share the password. Even if you ask, can I have your password? And a lot of times, what happens is one of the partners is getting a sense of what's going on, something's different, and they say, "Well, let me see, let me have your password. I want to check your phone." And just straight out. No, and it's always the whole argument is no, that is ridiculous. I'm entitled to my privacy. I don't want to be married to someone or partnering with someone who doesn't trust me. And for the most part, that's a lot of BS, I think. I think that if a person is feeling unsafe, then we should let the person look at the phone so they can feel safe, and hopefully they correct they correct themselves. If the person happens to be someone who truly has a paranoid problem, okay, that's another story. But that's very rare. Most of the time, when someone has a need to check out your phone or check out the device, you're probably doing something that's arousing their concern. And just if they misunderstood, then give them the password, give them the phone, and let them find out the information that okay, everything's okay. If the if your partner is that protective, that might be a sign of micro cheating. The fifth sign of micro cheating is commenting on people's posts on social media that maybe you know that your partner would find attractive. Now, in and of itself, a post, a comment might mean nothing. But if you see a pattern of people, again, this is coming from what I've seen in my practice. And oftentimes this micro cheating starts very micro. It's commenting on people while you're really cute. I'm going to just say, give you a like or maybe give a comment. Even likes and whatever reactions could oftentimes be the beginning. Again, I don't want to take this crazy. I don't want to, be extreme about it. But that oftentimes might be a sign that the person is not looking just to their partner for that kind of stimulation. Possibility, commenting on people's posts on social media, or even just doing a lot of likes, kind of in a patterned way. Sixth sign, maintaining a relationship with exes. And the reason I included that is I just seen, um, I'm thinking of just more recent situations where a person went back with their ex eventually, or cheated with their ex, but it all started with just, talking every once in a while. And of course, it's challenging if your ex is a parent of a child you have in common. Of course, there's got to be some communication. But again, what's the quality of that communication? Is it getting kind of friendly? Again, I think being civil with a former partner, especially when there's children, is ideal. But there's a way to do it, and there's a way to cross the line. So again, it's not a black and white thing. None of these are. But if a person is maintaining relationships with exes, especially those where there's not a child in common, or um, there's more time spent doing that than with the person themselves, that could be an issue. That could be some old feelings that probably it would be better to bring those feelings into the relationship and say, wow, I still have some old feelings for my partner. I know people hear me say, they go, no way. Well, actually, I think that if, get a therapist to talk about it, or bring it into your partner and say, I'm not going to act on it, but this is what I was feeling. I remember this month brings up the time when I met her, and a lot of people think I'm ridiculous for even suggesting that, because they go, I wouldn't want to hear that about an ex. Well, it's better than them having a secret, you know? I talk a lot about this micro hiding that people do. It's not a good idea. We want to create a relationship where we can be open about things. So anyway, maintaining a relationship with exes can be problematic, especially if your current committed partner doesn't know the ex. It's really not like there's not a respectful relationship between the ex and your current partner. If there is a very respectable relationship, I've seen situations where they really are. They've just grown up, they've matured, there's a respect, and it just works. So I'm just talking about when there's a secret, when the current committed partner is kind of left out of the equation, and there's this connection, this consistent, even semi-consistent contacting with an ex. Seventh sign of micro cheating, and last that I'll be talking about, is that there are places in life where they keep you totally shut out of their life. Current couple I'm working with now, where there was not cheating, but there was micro cheating. And here's what happened. He and his wife had their connection, their intent, their positive intensity had totally waned. Raising kids, and having different challenges, and then with kids, or at least one of them in particular, and just kind of different. They're very different, and they just didn't have much of a connection. And so he went to a gym, and he just befriended a woman, and there was absolutely no sexual intent whatsoever. I'm totally convinced of that. But there was this friendship where they became very open with each other, and he would go to that gym at times when she was there, and his wife had no idea about this other person. It's not like he would come home and say, I met this lady so and so. It's very nice. It's nice talking with her. She knows a lot about my medical condition. It's all true. And so we talked about that, but we talked about other things too. And she's new to the area. It's been nice to just introduce her to some of the other people at the gym. No, there was none of that kind of talk. It was a total shutout, total separation of his life at the gym and his wife. And ultimately nothing terrible happened, but there was definitely an event that was not sexual, but it was inappropriate. And it all was due to his practice of shutting his wife out of that part of his life. It could be the gym, it could be work. Sometimes, just especially when there's people that a lot of social culture at work, that oftentimes bringing in the partner in there so the partner is exposed to it might be a good idea. Might be other areas, might be just a group of friends that you do that you never that you never they never meet. I've seen situations like that, and in those social groups, people might tend to, because there's such a separateness, to act like single people rather than committed people. So anyway, those are the seven signs. On phone a lot, and when you ask what they're doing, the answer is vague or they're hesitant or nervous. Number two, isolates a lot. Number three, not emotionally present or attentive, even when physically present. Number four, very protective of the phone, careful not to leave it out, won't share a password. Number five, commenting on attractive people's posts on social media. Number six, maintaining relationship with exes. And number seven, shutting a person out totally, their committed partner, out of an area of their life. So if you have a number of those together, that might be a sign, and it's worth talking about and worth discussing. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I'll be talking more about microcheating and what to do about it. Again, today was about the seven signs of microcheating. And thank you so much for listening. This is Todd Creager, making the world safe for love.